Hey everybody out there. So I'm going to answer one of the, actually I think this might be the most recent question I got emailed in, and just give a quick 90-day review having my authority active. So first, the question. It's actually like a 4-part question, and the reason why I picked this one is because it's one of those questions or one of those emails that I get a lot. It just seems like a lot of people want to know the same thing. It's a 4-part question. The first question was, well, I guess the first part of the question was, big rig versus semi. Which one is best? The next part of it was, I want to say, the best truck to use. And I think, and how easy it is to find loads on the East Coast. Because this email was coming from a Bruni, and Bruni's coming out of New York. And I think and the last part of the question was, is like the DOT number, DOT, CDL, authority needed to run in Hotshot. So that's the 4 parts of the question. The first part, best truck. People ask it a lot. I don't know that there is such a thing as a best truck. Everybody's different. And coming from one of the least experienced people, honestly, I only have one truck to go by is the one I have. It's fine as far as I know. Like I said, I don't have anything to compare it to. It's a single rear wheel Ford F350 2019. Yeah, so I don't know if I could. There's no way I could say it's the best or the worst. I have no idea. First truck I ever had. First time I'm ever doing this in 3 months in the game. So I can't answer about what's best. I don't know if there is even such a thing. So then, leasing versus buying a truck. That was another part. And that answer is very similar to the first one in terms of like what's best. So I'll jump back to the first one and just give my reasons for why I did what I did. So the first part about actually, let me turn this off. I think it's a little buzzy here. So yeah, best truck for me was the first truck they had available. So, and it could have been a dually, I was just going whatever they had. So because I'm doing enterprise lease, so that to me the best truck was the first one I could get in. I didn't really care which one they gave me. I preferred the one I had, and I got lucky to get it. But I was ready to go with a dually. Didn't matter. I just wanted to get out there and start hauling. So as far as best truck, that's my take on that. Leasing versus going and buying a truck. It really, I don't know which one is necessarily the better one. The reason why I went lease versus buy was simply because of the maintenance and the overhead. I mean, the maintenance and like I guess you call it the overhead. I didn't want, more like the commitment, maybe not overhead. So like I didn't want to take out this huge loan and not being sure if I could even turn the business the way I needed to. So all I had to do was put the money down for the truck, was like $3,500. That's why I went that way. It was just from financial perspective for me, it just made more sense. I don't know if I'll ever buy a truck. The way I look at it is, if I was to buy a truck, I would immediately have initial upfront profit because my payment would be lower and it would be the same. However, the maintenance cost, I don't know what that would be. I have no idea. Maintenance and depreciation and all that jazz. I have no idea. That's the X factor. So I just simply avoided it and just went with the higher enterprise fee. So 21 cents a mile, and I just base my rates and all my pricing and stuff off that. So anyway, that's leasing versus buying. I think if I had a truck, I would run that first. I think if I had a truck that I could actually, haul cars with, just to try the business out, I would definitely do that first. But like going out and buying a truck, I looked at it, I ran the numbers. People do it. I'm sure they make money doing it, but I feel like that's more preference, more what you're comfortable with. So, kind of a non-answer, but that's my opinion on it. So then there's how easy is it to find loads? So, and I think this question, so the question in the particular email I got last was in comparison to semi-trucks. So all I can say is that I've never ran a semi-truck or a big rig to say, well, when I did this I didn't do that. Now, I can say that when I go on the load boards, I see a good amount of, like, even with the filters set for my truck's specifics, I still get a fair amount. I would say almost most of the loads on there, maybe not most, but a lot of them are for big rigs. So, my assumption would be that you can find them easier, just because it just seems like they're just always on the board. It doesn't seem like there's any lack of loads. If you got like 48 or 53 feet and you can haul like 40 plus thousand pounds, it seems like there's always stuff out there for that. So if I had to make a bet on which one is easier without having actually hauled semis or big rigs before, I would bet that the semis were easier. It just seems like there's more. So that's my opinion. It's not based on experience, because I haven't done the big rigs. I've only done Hotshot for 3 months, and it's work to get good loads. There's days where I'll go and I'll put in my parameters, and it will be, depending on like if I'm in a weird area or something like that, really won't be anything. So I don't know that it works that way for big rigs. So that's my take on that. Then the whole CDL, DOT. So let me split that up. So to run Hotshot, do you need DOT authority? You don't need that. You can run under someone else's. It's pretty straightforward. Do you need the CDL? No, you don't need that. You can run non-CDL. I don't have a CDL. So I guess that's the simple and straightforward answer. Which one's best? I know that wasn't asked, but like I said, these questions come up a lot. I don't know that there's a best. It really just depends on how you want to run, and what's more important to you. CDL, from one perspective, you can carry more weight. I don't know that necessarily better, but that might make a person feel more comfortable to where they would say it's better. I don't know. Those are, I would say those questions are probably the ones that get asked the most. I would say in the last few emails that I ran through, those are what I get. Even when I get stopped if I'm loading and people want to know, like, oh, well, do you need this? Do you need that? That's always the question. So hopefully I gave my opinions on those. Surely not saying do or don't do any direction, because really you have to figure out more specifically wherever you are what's going to make you more comfortable riding. What's more, if you live in a place, you maybe have to get on the load boards ahead of time and see what's coming out of your area. Do some upfront research. If you live in a place where it's hard to get out, that might be an issue for you, and it may be specific to the type of loads. I don't know. So anyway, that's for that. So then, the next part of this video I wanted to touch on was I hit my 90 days. Hit my 90 days with my authority. Kind of a big deal when it comes to getting started, because when you first get started, or when I first got started, I did hear on a regular basis when I would try to book a load I call up a broker. I see a load, call up the broker, work out the deal, give them my MC. They pull it up and they say, oh no, well, sorry, we can't book this load with you because you got to be at least 90 days. And that happened. I was getting that a little bit for the first month. Some people say, well, right as I got on the cusp of crossing over to a month, people are like, oh, you're almost a month. So I don't hear obviously any more of you got to be a month old or 3 months old now. I heard 6 months. I think maybe once or twice over the past 90 days. Not often. I don't think I ever heard a year, but from what I understand, that's some carriers or some brokers, I should say, they have that requirement. So yeah, that's first milestone. So what else happened during the first 90 days? So I did a couple of things. I did my first long haul, meaning I went from the East Coast to the West Coast. I went from New Jersey all the way to California and took a load out there and brought a couple items back. So I went back, went from coast to coast. That was a learning experience. On top of that, on the way out there, I passed my level 1 inspection, so I got my sticker on my truck now, which supposedly, this is what 2 inspection officers told me, is that once you pass a level 1, you should be good for 90 days or for 3 months, depending on the period that you get a sticker. So that was a relief. Haven't actually ran through or got it tested to see will I actually get passed because of the sticker yet? It hasn't happened, but at least that's what, like I said, that's what I was told by the DOT officers or inspection officers. As far as what else is going on, so the first when I started out, I didn't have a load board at all. I just started out, went right in with a dispatch service, and I maintained the dispatch service all the way through. I probably switched a couple of times, and even within the last dispatcher I have, I switched last service I have, I switched dispatchers in there just because they had personnel changes and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I still have a dispatch service, but I also picked up a load board. The first load board I picked up was Trucker's Edge or DAT. That was the first one. I think they're like $35 or $40 a month, and I ran with just that one for most of my first 90 days. I would say like maybe a month ago I picked up. I also subscribed to Trucker's Edge, and I started out with their highest paying plan because they had some kind of deal at the time, and I canceled it and rolled it back to just a regular like $40 a month plan. So right now, 2 load boards and a dispatch service. So that's how I'm getting my loads now. What else? So, and just background in case it's the first time you come into the channel. So the setup that I'm running is the same as I started. Like I said, Ford F350 2019, single rear wheel. It's the long bed. It's 4-door crew cab, I guess. It's got the 6.7 diesel, and I'm renting it through Enterprise at 21 cents a mile, minimum 5,000 miles a month, and it is currently right now I have 29,674 miles on it, and when I picked it up, it had like 122 miles on it. So that's for the truck. The trailer, I got through Southern Trailers out of Alabama, and it's got a little less in terms of mileage on it. I think I probably have right around maybe like 26 or 27,000 miles on it. and no issues at all with that. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a 40-foot, meaning it's a 35-foot deck with a 5-foot dovetail with flip-up ramps on the back of it. Yeah, both truck and trailer, no issues throughout this whole time, really. I think I got a bit of a slow leak on one of my rear tires on the trailer, so I'm gonna look into that this weekend. As far as the truck goes, like I said, no real issues between either one of them. I have a check engine light that doesn't seem to want to go off, but every time I take it in for service, they look at it, and it'll go off and come back on. They don't know what's wrong with it. It is what it is. I also have taken it in for 3 oil changes so far to Firestone. All of the service on it is free through the enterprise deal. So I've taken it, like I said, 3 times. The first time was just oil change. Second time was oil change and filter. The last time was oil change, brakes, and tires. I got 2 tires after I came back from California. The back ones were worn out pretty bad, so they just rotated them, put the new ones on the front, put the old ones that were on the front to the back. And I guess that's it for the truck and trailer. As far as securement equipment, most of my stuff's holding up. I haven't straps. I still have I lost 1 strap on a container, maybe like my 1 month in, but I still use it. It's shorter, so like I use that to, like, if I got like a low load or something like that, so it's not totally a loss. You're starting to get worn a little bit though. I'm probably going to do I shouldn't say probably, I actually recorded it already. I'm probably going to upload this video about just reviewing the truck. Reviewing the truck and the trailer a little bit more in depth. I caught up with Alex from Toe Piglet the other day, and we chatted about it. He thought it was a really good idea to make this video just talking about my 3 months, first 90 days in, and also do a trailer review. So that should be coming out soon. So anyway, as far as securement stuff, everything's holding up pretty good. It's wearing quicker than I thought, but it still seems pretty solid. I don't think I have to replace anything soon, but maybe at the next 3 months I might be looking to do it. My tarp's good. As far as equipment that I started out with only, I think like maybe 8, maybe like 8 2x27-inch ratchet straps, flat hooks. I didn't have a tarp. Had maybe like I got the 20-pack of edge protectors, 50-pack of bungees. It's one thing I would say I go through on a regular basis. Maybe like every time I haul, every time I haul and I strap down and every time I haul and I tarp a load, I'm usually use like 1, maybe 2 every time. So not uncommon to lose a bungee. So, but when I got my first initial order, I got 50, so I still have plenty. Got the remover blankets. I only have 4 chains and 4 binders, and I think I need to go ahead and upgrade or just get some more chains and binders, because the way it is now, like if I had, even though I can only haul 10,000 pounds, sometimes like some equipment is tractors or street sweepers or anything like that, they'll be like 4,500 pounds or something like that, 5,000 pounds, and if I wanted to do like 2 at a time, or if there was a load where they were like 9,000 or 10,000, it was two of those units, I would only really be able to chain down 1, because I only have 4 chains and binders. I mean, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I could make it work, but I'm just not comfy with just having the 4. So I'll probably pick up at least another 4 chains and binders just for good measure. Maybe at least another 2. Not too sure, but I need more. I just feel like might be a problem. I had to do a load where it wasn't equipment. I mean, it wasn't like tractor equipment. There were like pieces to construction equipment, like hydraulic arm and like the bucket off a huge backhoe or something like that. And the way, no, it was like a claw. That's what it was. Yeah, the claw part. So, and all of the equipment had like the little notches on it for chains. And I could have got it done real quick if I'd had more chains, but I only had enough chains to strap down the one piece. Luckily, the other piece was shaped in a way where I could still use straps. Like I said, chain down the claw part and just strap down the arm part. It was fine, but it would have been easier if I'd had chain, just because it was such a big, heavy equipment. I had to protect the edges so it didn't rip my ratchet straps. So anyway, more chains, more chains, more binders. I think I need, what else? Right now, I would say this particular week, the rates have not been the best. So, at one point I did, over the past 90 days, I signed up for Central Dispatch, which is a car hauling load board. And I upgraded my insurance to carry cars. I didn't use it during the time. I think at the time I was running good and rates were good, so I just didn't use it. And it didn't cost me anything. It was like a free trial. So I canceled the insurance. But I think based on how the rates were this week, I think I'm probably going to sign back up and get me a couple of ramps, car hauling ramps, just in case I end up in a weird part of the country where I just have some extra space. Like right now, I have a load back here. It's only 6,000 pounds, and it only takes up about 12 feet of deck space. So if I had car ramps on there, I could easily put a car on there. Where I drop it off if I can't find the load, just to have more options. I think ramps I priced were like $350 or $300. I might be able to catch a deal with someone off Facebook or Marketplace or something like that. But anyway, that's one of the things I'm looking to do going forward. So I guess that's just as far as like equipment goes and some of the milestones I have. If I had to just speak on just how I feel, my take on the business. So coming from a regular 9-to-5 job, desk job, in banking, and then getting into Hotshot Trucking with no trucking experience. For me personally, I thoroughly enjoy hauling freight. I didn't think, I had no idea. I always liked to drive. I like being outdoors, but I didn't know if it would be too tedious, because there's good and bad days. There's traffic, there's tight spots you got to get in and out. You got to wait for, you got to wait to get loaded. You got to loads cancel, all that kind of stuff. I haven't been doing it long, but so far I've come into the season where it's hot outside, where this goofy shirt I got on is probably like the third shirt I had to change today, just because right now it's like 95 degrees and the humidity is probably like 95 degrees as well. It's just nasty up here in the Northeast. But with all of the traffic and all the headaches and all of the stuff, to me they weren't headaches, but I still thoroughly enjoy it. So from that perspective, it still feels right to me. It feels like I definitely made the right choice. And the community has been, by and large, super supportive and helpful. It's like the camaraderie is definitely, like you can feel it right away. And that's always good. I don't know. So as far as the rates go and the money and all that stuff, I feel like with businesses, anytime you start your own business, you're going to have ups and downs. Anytime you start a new job, this is like basically my first 90 days on the job. You'll know right away if you don't, if you need to get another job. So I don't have that feeling for sure. I just have to make sure that go back and tighten up my numbers a little bit, make my projections a little bit more realistic based on my first 3 months, and I think I should be good. Yeah, that's my take. If I had to say the good and the bad, the good is obviously I make my own schedule. I go for the most part where I want, when I want. I can look for loads myself. I can get my own business. I have a dispatcher, and they find something that I don't like, I don't want to go there, that's my choice too. So the control is definitely huge. I get to see the country. I've seen so many places. Is, you know, that's priceless, honestly. Meet nice people. Thoroughly enjoy it. Now, as far as like the bad goes, obviously, it's a learning curve. Is the bad days where, like for me, especially starting out when I didn't have any experience, there was a lot of turn downs, a lot of I would say subpar loads probably I shouldn't have taken, just being so anxious to get out and haul because I wanted to keep my wheels turning. It's one thing I would say now I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with now versus when I started. More comfortable settling into just working the load boards, making the phone calls, not being as anxious. I'm still pretty anxious. Like I do not like sitting around. So I like to have my stuff lined up. I like to know where I'm going ahead of time. But also at the same time, I recognize that if I make a call on a load and it's not a good paying load and I just take it does a disservice to the industry, I think. Also at the same time, who knows, like if I would have been more patient, I might have been able to get a better paying load going to a better part of the country. So going forward, I'm going to learn to be a little bit more patient. That's one thing I'm starting to get. That's a transition. When I first started, it was bad. Like it was hard to sleep. Like there would be days where I would not get a load all day, and like if you wake up, if it's Monday morning and I didn't have a load coming in that day, like I wasn't dropping off, like I'm empty Monday morning, that's a bad feeling. And especially being new, I'm making calls, getting shot down, not finding anything. That wasn't a good feeling. And then you go through the whole day, don't end up with anything. You have to go to bed that night and start all over again. So that was nerve-wracking for a while. But as time goes, I got a little bit more, like I said, less anxious about it, less frustrated with it. With time, I got less phone calls where I was shot down or where I couldn't do the load. So that's one part. So then the business side anxiety has subsided, I would say, a good amount now. Also, just the idea of navigating with the long trailer. I ended up going into a couple of hard parts. Like I went into California. So first I went into New York. I went into Queens. And I went into Queens during rush hour during the week one day. And just in a matter of like 3 or 4 hours, that changed my whole level of nervousness when it came to driving, just because it was like so intense that I felt more comfortable in places where before I wasn't, just because it was so tight there and there was so much traffic. So that one, also in California traffic is terrible also, and it's not a lot of space, so trying to get around with the long trailer, not fun. But you got to get through it. So my level of comfort increased to the point where now it's not one of those things that I'm anxious about. I don't really have any reservations about where I'm going with my trailer. I'm pretty confident that most places where I go, I can get through or get out or back up, or at least I know when I get there, if it's starting to look like an area where I probably shouldn't go any farther down like a street or a turn, like I'm getting more comfortable with being able to notice that. So I park and maybe walk up a little bit, take a look, go pull it up on Google Maps and see what the area looks like. So get more comfortable driving in general. So let's see what else. Strapping down loads, more comfortable with that. And I would say on top of being more comfortable, just being more efficient. I have, you know, like you get into a rhythm of like when you pull up, you know, unlock my box, I go and I throw out my straps, and you know, it's like a little bit of a routine you get into. So I picked up a way to get in and out. I can get loaded pretty quickly and unloaded also pretty quickly. I can tarp. Tarp's probably still a little tricky. I don't do it enough to get that much better, but I am getting better at it. I'm not really not nearly as hesitant about it as I was when I first started. One thing I will say that I'm still pretty skittish about, and that's wide loads or oversized loads. I did one. It was really not. It really didn't look like a wide load. I mean, it was big, but it wasn't much bigger than my trailer, so I felt comfortable doing it. It was more like a technicality because, you know, it hung over on each side by like an inch. You know, I had to go and get the banners out and get the permits and all that stuff, but still a little nervous about getting one that like hangs off a foot on each side, but I'll get there. I think that's it for my first 90 days. I guess in short, if I had to do it all over again, would I? Absolutely, without a doubt. And I actually look forward to my next 90 days where I can hopefully turn the corner from a business perspective, get a little bit more solid when it comes to, you know, managing my expenses, picking better, more profitable loads. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I actually look excited about that. Also, too, with the seasons, the ups and downs, to see like, oh, what are the trends going into the fall, and how is it going to be like strapping stuff down when it gets cold. I'm looking forward to learning all of that part of the business. So anyway, I think this video is long enough. I will cut it short here. So I've been trying to figure out what's been going on with this tire lately, and right as I was parking today, I was getting ready to unhook, and I took a little walk around, and it's quiet enough where I could check this out. So I'm trying to feel it, and it's right there, right there. So that's the culprit. Oh no, I'm wrong. Not that one. So that's not good, but that's the one. I don't know if you can hear that. So it looks like I'll be changing the tire. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.